Someone will need a spanking. Before you go and browse our voluptuous stacks, I'd love to go through these books with you. You want to take anything home right now? Or the books, I mean? What's Bonk reading? Oh, this is just my assistant, and he's reading a decorating book because he doesn't like the way that I decorate my library or my office or my classroom or my exam room or my interrogation room. Yeah. Okay. Hi. How are you? Welcome to the public library. We're happy to assist you. It's a slower day. We're so happy that you're here, right, Bunk? Right. Yeah. Are you new here? Is this your first time checking out? Oh, you're a member at our other locations. Got it. Well, I am gonna need to sign you up for this specific location if that's okay. Perfect. Now, try and keep your voice down, okay? This is a library. There's people studying, reading, and doing very important work, okay? Alright, I run a tight ship around this library, so make sure you're following the rules, okay? Or maybe someone will need a spanking. Okay. Can I get your first and last name, please? Oh. How do you spell that? Is that a family name? Or did your parents actually pick that out for you? No, you just don't hear of that these days. Very unique. And you are a member at our other locations? Okay, perfect. Can I get a good address for you? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, the other location didn't ask for your address? Well, what if we need to mail you something? Yeah, it's very important. You don't want to miss any news, So much goes on here. You don't want to miss it. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you're ready. All right. Perfect. What about a phone number? You didn't have to give that either. Well, we just want to be able to reach you however, whenever. Is that fine? Okay. Amazing. You'll be all up to date on the library's news, okay? Don't want you waiting eagerly at home and not getting your news. Silly. All right, so that should sign you up for your digital card, okay? Next time, I'll go ahead and get you a hard copy. But that should work for today. Are you looking for anything in particular? I do have our featured books of the month behind me here. Yes, next to my very prestigious award that I got for being the best librarian that this new library has ever had. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and it looks like you're all in the system. Before you go and browse our voluptuous stacks, I'd love to go through these books with you. Yeah, just to give you some options. Yep. Perfect. Sorry, Mommy needs her medicine. Okay. Well, which one should I go through first? What do you typically read? Do you like more fiction, nonfiction, maybe fantasy? You like fantasy, don't you? Me too. We have so much in common. It's actually crazy. Don't we, Bonk? He agrees. All right. Well, sci-fi, fantasy. You just like books. I love it. Okay, well, I'm going to go through all of them with you anyway, because you never know. Your new favorite might be here, just undiscovered, right? This is so exciting. All right. No, I'm just sizing you up. Yeah, I can just take one look at a person and know what kind of book that they're in the mood for. Yep. Let's go Dune first. Very popular after the most recent movies that came out. Okay, we love Timothée. Okay, we love him. We love him in this house, don't we? Yeah, we do. Okay, well, how about I just read you the description, and then, yeah, if it piques your fancy, I can read you just a little excerpt, okay? This looks big. Oh, you haven't seen big, okay? Yeah. Just wait till I show you the Throne of Glass series, okay? Now that's big. But don't worry, I can handle that. Okay. Dune. Very popular science fiction. Featured because of the more recent Dune 2. Yeah. Alright. Frank Herbert's classic masterpiece, a triumph of the imagination and one of the best-selling science fiction novels of all time. Okay. Set on a desert planet, Arrakis, Dune is the story of the boy Paul Atreides, who would become known as what was it? Why did I just blank? Not Lisan al-Gaib, but Muad'Dib, yes, and of the great family's ambition to bring to fruition humankind's most ancient and unattainable dream. A stunning blend of adventure and mysticism, environmentalism, and politics, Dune won the first Nebula Award, shared the Hugo Award, and formed the basis of what is undoubtedly the grandest epic in science fiction. Can you believe it? In the week before their departure to Arrakis, when all the final scurrying about had reached a nearly unbearable frenzy, an old crone came to visit the mother of the boy, Paul. It was a warm night at Castle Caladan, and the ancient pile of stone that had served the Atreides family as home for 26 generations bore that cooled sweat feeling it acquired before any change in the weather. The old woman was let in by the side door down the vaulted passage by Paul's room, and she was allowed a moment to peer in at him as he lay in his bed. By the half-light of a dispenser lamp, dimmed and hanging near the floor, the awakened boy could see a bulky female shape at his door, standing one step ahead of his mother. The old woman was a witch shadow, hair like matted spider webs, hooded round darkness of features, eyes like glittering jewels. Ooh. Just gonna read you the first page, see if it hooks you. Okay? Gotta get the hooks in you, right? I wish I had Twilight. I don't own Twilight hard copy. Oh, I mean, this library does not have Twilight hard copy. They're all checked out. So you will have to make do. I'm going to show you Stephanie Meyer's other great book called The Host. Another science fiction. But before we get into science fiction, let's take a look at maybe a nonfiction. You never know if you're feeling like working your noodle, right? We love to work our noodles here. How about this one? Okay, good for our people who are maybe too hard on themselves out there, who need to work on the skill of self-acceptance and not pushing yourself too hard, maybe a little bit of perfectionism. It's called The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. Love the smell of a book. Doesn't that just make you randy? Yeah, it does. Okay. Ready? For over a decade, Brené Brown has found a special place in our hearts as a gifted map maker and a fellow traveler.
She is both a social scientist and a kitchen table friend whom you can always count on to tell the truth, make you laugh, and on occasion cry with you. And what's now become a movement all started with The Gifts of Imperfection, which has sold more than 3 million copies in 35 different languages across the globe. What transformed this book from words on a page to effective daily practices are 10 guideposts to wholehearted living. The guideposts not only help us understand the practices that will allow us to change our lives and families, they also walk us through the unattainable and sabotaging expectations that get in the way. Brene writes, "This book is an invitation to join a wholehearted revolution, a small, quiet, grassroots movement that starts with each of us saying, 'My stories matter,' or 'My story matters because I matter.' Revolution might sound a little dramatic, but in this world, choosing authenticity and worthiness is an absolute act of resistance." Ooh. Once you see a pattern, you can't unsee it. Trust me, I've tried. But when the same truth keeps repeating itself, it's hard to pretend that it's just a coincidence. For example, no matter how hard I try to convince myself that I can function on 6 hours of sleep, anything less than 8 hours leaves me impatient, anxious, and foraging for carbohydrates. It's a pattern. I also have a terrible procrastination pattern. I always put off writing by reorganizing my entire house, spending way too much time and money buying office supplies or organizing systems every single time. One reason it's impossible to unsee trends is that our minds are engineered to seek out patterns and to assign meaning to them. Humans are a meaning-making species, and for better or worse, my mind is actually fine-tuned to do this. I spent years training for it, and now it's how I make my living. Wholehearted living is not a one-time choice, it's a process. In fact, I believe it's the journey of a lifetime. My goal is to bring awareness and clarity to the constellation of choices that lead to wholeheartedness and to share what I've learned from many, many people who have dedicated themselves to living and loving with their whole hearts. Wow. Not piquing your fancy? That's okay. Let's keep going. Oh, interested in Harry Potter, are you? This is the first book, because of course you have to start with the first one, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Good. This one doesn't smell as good as the other one. Okay. Do I have a summary? This is a hard copy, so it's a little different. I don't think we do. Always use technology. It's here to help you, right? Except no cell phone use in my library. Okay. Turning the envelope over, his hand trembling, Harry saw a purple wax seal bearing a coat of arms, a lion, an eagle, a badger, and a snake surrounding the letter H. Close your eyes and enter the magical world of Harry Potter. Well, this is an audiobook, so that's why it says close your eyes. Okay. Harry Potter has never even heard of Hogwarts when the letters start dropping on the doormat at number 4 Privet Drive. Addressed in green ink on yellowish parchment. Oh my gosh. Addressed in green ink on yellowish parchment with a purple seal, they are swiftly confiscated by his grisly aunt and uncle. Then, on Harry's 11th birthday, a great beetle-eyed giant of a man called Rubeus Hagrid bursts in with some astonishing news. Harry Potter is a wizard, and he has a place at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. An incredible adventure is about to begin, having become classics of our time. The Harry Potter stories never fail to bring comfort and escapism. Ain't that the truth? Okay. Very good. This is a great fantasy with a great magical system. The books are very good. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which he made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde, and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear if anyone found out about the Potters. Want me to keep going? Different fantasy? Maybe Throne of Glass will pique your interest. This is one of my personal favorites. And yes, we did have to hunt down this exclusive cover. Okay. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. 2 men love her. The whole land fears her. Only she can save them all. In a world without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She comes not to kill the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is Selena Sardothian. The crown prince will provoke her. The captain of the guard will protect her. And a princess from a faraway land will befriend her. But something evil dwells in the castle, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying, one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. Oh yeah, okay. That's that Nice map here. Can you show off that cover? Pretty amazing. After a year of slavery in the salt mines of Endovir, Selena Sardothian was accustomed to being escorted everywhere in shackles and at sword point. Most of the thousands of slaves in Endovir received similar treatment, though an extra half-dozen guards always walked Selena to and from the mines. That was expected by Adderlin's most notorious assassin. What she did not usually expect, however, was a hooded man in black at her side, as there was now. He gripped her arm as he led her through the shining building in which most of Endovir's officials and overseers were housed. They strode down corridors, up flights of stairs, and around until she hadn't the slightest chance of finding her way out again. At least, that was her escort's intention, because she hadn't failed to notice when they went up and down the same staircase within a matter of minutes. Nor had she missed when they zigzagged between levels, even though the building was a standard grid of hallways and stairwells. As if she'd lose her bearings that easily. She might have been insulted if he wasn't trying so hard. They entered a particularly long hallway, silent save for their footsteps. Though the man grasping her arm was tall and fit, she could see nothing of the features concealed beneath his hood, another tactic meant to confuse and intimidate her. The black clothes were probably a part of it too. His head shifted in her direction, and Selena flashed him a grin. He looked forward again, his iron grip tightening. It was flattering, she supposed, even if she didn't know what was happening or why he'd been waiting for her outside the mine shaft. After a day of cleaving rocks from the innards of the mountain, finding him standing there with 6 guards hadn't improved her mood. I have the whole set if you'd like to see. All right. Just a couple more. When you first read it, how did you pronounce Kale? Well, I actually had heard it already, so I pronounced it Kale, but everybody says Kale or I don't even know. Next, featured in our library is Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. To master anything, one must first master themselves, one's emotions, one's thoughts, one's actions. Eisenhower famously said that freedom is really the opportunity to practice self-discipline. Cicero called the virtue of temperance the polish of life. Without boundaries and restraint, we risk not only failing to meet our full potential and jeopardizing what we have achieved, but we ensure misery and shame. In a world of temptation and excess, this ancient idea is more urgent than ever. In Discipline is Destiny, Holiday draws on the stories of historical figures we can emulate as pillars of self-discipline, including Lou Gehrig, Queen Elizabeth II, boxer Floyd Patterson, Marcus Aurelius, and writer Toni Morrison, as well as the cautionary tales of Napoleon, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Babe Ruth. Through these engaging examples, Holiday teaches readers the power of self-discipline and balance, and cautions against the perils of extravagance and hedonism. Slay. All right. And as you can see, this is my personal copy. I will check you out another one, but I am almost halfway through this MFR. Okay. actually, this might be good because there's 4 books. So, it was long ago that Hercules came to the crossroads, at a quiet intersection in the hills of Greece in the shade of knobby pine trees, and the great hero of Greek myth first met his destiny. Where exactly it was, when, no one knows. We hear of this moment in the stories of Socrates. We can see it captured in the most beautiful art of the Renaissance. We can feel his budding energy, his strapping muscles, and his anguish in the classic Bach cantata. Cantata. If John Adams had his way in 1776, Hercules at the Crossroads would have been immortalized on the official seal of the newly founded United States, because there, before the man's undying fame, before the 12 labors, before he changed the world, Hercules faced a crisis, one as life-changing and as real as any of us have ever faced. Where was he headed? Where was he trying to go? That's the point of the story. Alone, unknown, unsure, Hercules, like so many, did not know. Where the road diverged lay a beautiful goddess who offered him every temptation he could imagine. Adorned in finery, she promised him a life of ease. She swore he'd never taste want or unhappiness or fear or pain. Follow her, she said, and his every desire would be fulfilled. On the other path stood a sterner goddess in a pure white robe. She made a quieter call. She promised no rewards except those that came as a result of hard work. It would be a long journey, she said. There would be sacrifice. There would be scary moments, but it was a journey fit for a god. It would make him the person his ancestors meant him to be. Was this real? Did it really happen? If it's only a legend, does it matter? Yes, because this story is about us, about our dilemma, about our own crossroads. For Hercules, the choice was between vice and virtue, the easy way and the hard way, the well-trod path and the road less traveled. We all face this choice. Banger. You want to know why I'm streaming or doing a role play on a Wednesday? Thank Mr. Holiday. How are we feeling about the book selection so far? Sorry. Good book so far. All right, one last book to go through, and then it's your turn to decide which one you want to check out. Isn't this so exciting, Bonk? We're shaking, we're gyrating, we're so excited for you to check out your first book from our library. All right, next. Look at the weight this has got to it. Yep, he's a big boy. This is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Now, you may know the hit series Twilight, okay? I am not knocking Twilight. Twilight, bangers, okay? Changed my brain chemistry. This is her kind of take on a science fiction. It's really nice. And then I did thrift this. It's a library book. And there is food or something in it. That's really gross. Okay.
Melanie Strider refuses to fade away. Earth has been invaded by a species that takes over the minds of human hosts while leaving their bodies intact. And most of humanity has succumbed. Wanderer, the invading soul who has been given Melanie's body, knew about the challenges of living inside a human, the overwhelming emotions, the too vivid memories. But there was one difficulty Wanderer didn't expect: the former tenant of her body refusing to relinquish possession of her mind. Melanie fills Wanderer's thoughts with visions of the man Melanie loves, Jared, a human who still lives in hiding. Unable to separate herself from her body's desires, Wanderer yearns for a man she's never met. and outside forces make Wanderer and Melanie unwilling allies. They set off to search for the man they both love. Featuring what may be the first love triangle involving only two bodies, The Host is a riveting and unforgettable novel that will bring a vast new readership to one of the most compelling writers of our time. Sorry, there was a disturbance in the library. Somebody said they were getting aroused in behind stack 4 there. Okay. The healer's name was Ford's Deep Waters. Because he was a soul, by nature he was all things good, compassionate, patient, honest, virtuous, and full of love. Anxiety was an unusual emotion for Ford Deepwaters. Irritation was even rarer, however, because Ford Deepwaters lived inside a human body. Irritation was sometimes inescapable. As the whispers of the healing students buzzed in the far corner of the operating room, his lips pressed together into a tight line. The expression felt out of place on a mouth more often given to smiling. Darren, his regular assistant, saw the grimace and patted his shoulder. "They're just curious, Fords," he said quietly. "An insertion is hardly an interesting or challenging procedure. Any soul on the street could perform it in an emergency. There's nothing for them to learn by observing today." Fords was surprised to hear the sharp edge marring his normally soothing voice. "They've never seen a grown human before," Darren said. Fords raised one eyebrow. "Are they blind to each other's faces? Do they not have mirrors? You know what I mean, a wild human, still soulless, one of the insurgents." Fords looked at the girl's unconscious body, laid out face down on the operating table. Pity swelled in his heart as he remembered the condition of her poor broken body had been in when the Seekers had brought her to the healing facility. Such pain she'd endured. Of course she was perfect now, completely healed. Fords had seen to that. "She looks the same as any of us," Fords murmured to Darren. "We all have human faces, and when she wakes up, she will be one of us too. It's just exciting for them, that's all. The soul we implant today deserves more respect than to have her host body gawked at in this way. She'll already have far too much to deal with as she acclimates. It's not fair to put her through this." By this, he did not mean the gawking. Fords heard the sharp edge return to his voice. Darren patted him again. "It will be fine. The Seeker needs information," and at the word Seeker, Fords gave Darren a look that could only be described as a glare. Darren blinked in shock. "I'm sorry," Fords apologized at once. "I didn't mean to react so negatively. It's just that I fear for this soul." His eyes moved to the cryotank on its stand beside the table. The light was a steady, dull red, indicating that it was occupied and in hibernation mode. "This soul was specifically picked for the assignment," Darren said soothingly. "She is exceptional among our kind, braver than most. Her lives speak for themselves. I think she would volunteer if it were possible to ask her. Who among us would not volunteer if asked to do something for the greater good? But is that really the case here? Is the greater good served by this? The question is not her willingness, but what is right to ask any soul to bear." So, what did we think? Any of those sound intriguing? You want to take anything home right now? Or the books, I mean? The one about the slave assassin gladiator, Throne of Glass. All right. Can't drop my award.
amazing choice. You're gonna love it. Just so you know, after this one, you're gonna be so hooked. I'm just getting you ready for what you're in store for, okay? After this one, you've got all of these. And then you have to read her other series as well. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Akatar has 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 books and counting, okay, in the Massverse. But you're ready. You look like you can commit. I know you can do it. All right. Be very careful with her, okay? I am going to check this out to you. Let's see. Throne of Glass. Very good. So you will need to bring it back in about 3 weeks. Do you think you can do that? I think you can do it just in time. Let's see. And the other one should be back and ready for you to check out. Let me just pull up your account here. Bonk, what are we gonna do? Look at this. Very disappointing. Very disappointing indeed. You've been very, very bad, haven't you? It's time to confess. Is there anything you want to tell me? No, you don't want to fess up? You've been extremely naughty. I may have to get that spanking we talked about. I see multiple missed return dates here from the other locations. It looks like you have a stack of overdue books. How dare you? Well, it does seem like you've racked up quite the fine. Are you ready and willing to pay today? Right now? No. Well, you did seem really intrigued by Throne of Glass, right? Okay, you promise to bring this one back on time? You flatter me. Stop it. Get a load of this guy, Bonk. Alright. I'll let you check it out, but if I see overdue, even by a day, you know what will happen. I did gather your address at the beginning of the check-in process, so I'll swing by, or maybe Bonk will. Alright. You're free to go with your new borrowed book. I expect to see you back in 3 weeks to return it along with the stack that you are hoarding at your house, okay? Yeah, and let me just verify. Yep, see, your address is right there, so I will be by to pick it up if you don't bring it in. Oh, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for visiting our brand new public library location.